Hi, it's Oplin here, and in this video, I'll be showing you the one stage that's hurting your hiring process. This stage is silently killing your hiring success by eliminating up to 90% of qualified candidates from your hiring process. This stage is the main factor behind why your practice is lacking so many candidates, which ultimately leads to a lower chance of hiring as a whole, as well as bringing in the right clinician for the long term. But today, I will reveal this deadly stage and the exact fix so you can increase your number of candidates by up to 85%. But if you're unaware of who I am, my name is Oliver Martin. I'm a recruiter who helps practice owners hire PTs, OTs, and SLPs. And my number one goal with this channel is to escape the corporate recruiter realm and provide real human-like value that actually works. Now, that is a quick intro. I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. Let's get into it. So what is the stage that is eliminating candidates from coming into your hiring process, as well as letting you actually hire again in the first place? Well, it's a screening process, and it goes a lot deeper than you might be expecting. If you're unaware, the screening process is the stage typically after the job application process. The job application process is where you have the job ad and candidates apply, and they fill in a little kind of screening paper of just some, basic non-negotiables, such as right to work or compensation or benefits, stuff like that. But screening typically comes right afterwards. So screening comes in multiple forms, but it is specifically hurting practices across the country because about 88% of practices are facing candidate dropout during this stage the most, right? You'd think it might be interviews or job applications, but screening is very, very crucial, and it's vital to really crack down and nail for your practice. But it can be really hard, and it comes in many forms. This video, we're going to show you exactly how we can prevent this from being an issue or bottleneck at your practice as a whole, and how, just in the future, how we can make this a fix where you never have to worry about it again. So now I'll be showing you the formats of screening and how it all works, the format that you're likely using right now at your practice that is likely not working, and the format and model that you need to switch to, and the 3 steps that it comes with. So the first model, the model that you're likely using, is a screening call. This is where the job applicant, or the candidate at this point you could say, passes the application phase and you give them a call. You call them for 5 minutes, and this is treated as a secondary kind of job application stage where you are just asking them a few questions, a few more non-negotiables to confirm everything's good. You get to hear their voice, you get to talk to them a little bit. And this is more so a secondary qualification to the job application phase. Now, afterwards, if the candidate passes this is typically where they get called in for interviews. Just a little bit more of a backstory if you're unaware of how screening really works, right? So that is likely what you are using. You will have a script, or you have a few questions that you have, and you are calling up these job applicants that are passing the job application phase, and you are asking them a few questions over these screening calls, right? But this is not how you do it, and there's many reasons why this stage and format is very, very outdated, especially in 2026. There's a much better way to streamline this, get it done more accurately and in a more structured, systemized way, where you are saving your time, but you are getting efficient return, right? So the format we're going to be discussing is screening forms, right? So screening forms, they come in 3 stages. The first stage being the Google form. This is the software that we use, which is just, Google. All you need is a Google account to sign up, and you're good to go. Then the second stage is actually adding the questions in. We'll be discussing this further in the video, but adding the actual questions is, that is how you screen, and that's the whole point of screening, is to add in qualification questions to determine whether they'll continue moving on to the next stage, right? Now, the third stage is branding the form. Now, once you've got the questions, once you got the Google form, it is time to add your logo, add any colors, add any company branding, just to make it a little bit more professional, so that the candidate has a good experience. They know that they're in contact and, looking for employment at a professional company, and it just makes everything that much better, right? So I'm going to hop into the computer now. I'm going to show you these exact 3 stages and exactly how to post write and brand the perfect screening form for your practice in 2026 and exactly why you need to choose this model, right? So we are on the computer now. I'm going to show you the best kind of job points regarding exactly why you need to install this screening form philosophy over at your practice, why this is so effective, especially for 2026, and then exactly how to do it in 3 simple stages, right? And the end, I'm going to provide you the exact template that we use to hire for our candidates and our clients over at Oplin, right? So let me quickly just show you exactly why you need to use screening forms over at your practice, right? So the first reason, this is obvious, but it does save you a ton of time. If you're going back and forth trying to chase candidates over the phone, missed calls, voicemails, 10-15 minute conversations over the phone, it can take a while, especially if you have multiple applicants coming in that are moving on to the screening stage. It could take a long time, and it could be a real hassle to have to call everyone up, right? Now it does increase candidate experience. Now, the reason it does is, I'm going to go over this at the bottom here, but it does increase convenience. It also reduces pressure because candidates don't have to speak directly with you over the phone immediately, especially in colder stages, because think of it, if you're in just passing the application phase, you are likely, as a candidate, you are too cold to really feel comfortable, being interviewed this early on, right? So phone interviews or phone screenings, they can come across as a little bit cold and increase pressure for candidates, right? Because it's a bit cold moving on early. So this just increases candidate experience, makes it more laid back, gives them a bit more, relaxation in the sense that they don't have as much pressure, and it just works much better, right? Now, this also reduces any bias. So this might not always be applicable, but if you have a unstructured screening process or a structured screening process, with phone interviews, sometimes you might, carry on, you might really like them or whatnot. You might just really like their personality, and this might lead you to carry on the phone. You might miss other scheduled screening calls with other candidates. You might go over, you might have, different kind of attractions to them whatsoever, and in the sense of like their, workplace skills or their personality. You might think that maybe, I don't know, they're too good for this practice, or they're the perfect fit, so I'm going to avoid all my, efforts in other candidates, right? Screening forms, they're more behind the scenes. You don't have to talk to them directly. It just has a more systemized approach, right? That leads me to the 4th point. It is organized and a structured workflow. So these are obviously screening forms, so they are very, very streamlined and systemized in the sense that you will get a yes or no answer, rather than screening calls where it's more of a jot down each answer, takes longer, and it'll be less systemized and predictable, right? And now, as I mentioned, 5th, convenience. It does increase in convenience for both parties. Less time, you can do it from anywhere you'd like, and there's less pressure, right? So that is exactly why you need to install a screening form philosophy over your practice. Now, for the 3-step stages of exactly how we implement it and our own screening template. Now, for the 3 stages and steps of how to get it done. So we have Google Forms. This is the first step. You need to make yourself a Google account and log on to Google Forms. That might be clicking one of the buttons up here and finding the option for Forms, right? Now, once you're here, you are obviously going to want to follow our template. This will be shown later in the video, but this is the template you'll be given and provided in the description below. But for the sake of this video, in case you want to make a more vanilla or creative job application with a bit more freedom to, express how you would like to articulate it in a way that suits your practice, I'm going to show you exactly how to make one here from scratch. So you're going to want to go to the job application template on the side provided by Google there. Now, you're going to have here, I recommend having an introduction text here, i.e., welcome to or thank you for, and then you would display the practice, your company. Thank you for having an interest, or you've moved on to this stage. Congrats. Now this, something like that. Keep it 2 sentences, nice and short. It doesn't matter too much, but make it nice and professional and short and brief, right? Now here, this is where we are going to go into the questions, and the questions have 4 different steps to them. Now, as you can tell, we have stages here, and these stages are how the Google form is actually manifested, in the sense that when you go onto the form, you're going to have certain questions, and then there'll be an option to move to the next page, right? For the sake of this video, I'll just call them stages, but each stage has its own section, right? So this is very, very psychologically expressed and articulated in a way that really speaks and is catered to these clinicians. So the candidates that are, applying, or as I said, filling in the screening process or the form, these are how it works, and it goes into this order. So the first stage, which is the page, is the non-negotiables. So you have a little bit outlined here, but this is where you're going to label any non-negotiables you have at the company, whether that be the right to work, the start date, the location they're in, let's say the role type, all that kind of stuff, the position, contact information, all that goes into the first stage, right? So the second stage will be soft skills. Now this is where you would go up here, and if you want to create another section, you would just click this button here, and it will let you make a question, right? But if you wanted to actually make another stage like this, so you just click this button here, and this is where you would have a section. So as you can see, so this might look weird on this end, but these sections are designed and catered to the clinician. So they will have one little page here like so, and then they'll have the option to click to the next page, which would just be this section here. So the second section would be soft skills, and this is where you would ask a few clinical based questions specific for your practice in regards to their specific skills that you're looking for, whether that be responsibility, teamwork, empathy, clinical expertise in the sense of like clinical work. Maybe they need to be independent, or they have to be good with other clinicians. You got to be creative with this one, but those are just a few soft skills. It really just depends on what you're looking for your practice. Then you implement those into scenario-based questions, i.e., what would you do in this situation if Phil did this? What would be your reaction? And then have multiple choice questions there, so they can, or multiple choice answers there, so they can pick among them, and you can have some sort of qualification in place. Now, the same thing goes for values and traits. Senior or scenario-based questions are the best way to evaluate these kind of multiple choice abstract kind of qualifications, so like traits, values, or skills, soft skills. So you'll just do the same with traits and values, i.e., what would you do if a customer or a patient did this? What would you do if your PTA did this? Stuff like that, right? Now the fourth one, I put goals/fun. So this would be any career goals, or let's say I put here some funny examples. If you were to relate yourself to a movie character, who would you choose and why? Or in 5 words, describe yourself, or in 2 words, describe your ideal practice. Fun related stuff like that, just so you are kind of having them have a laugh a bit, as well as, really just learning a bit more about them and how they, deal with funnier kind of relevant questions like that, and see if they have a humor, maybe that's important to you. And just see how they react to the questions, and they'll enjoy it as well. They'll have a laugh and they'll smile. So be creative for the end. Definitely have some career questions in there. I definitely recommend that. But otherwise, keep it fun, be creative, and yeah, that's for the section number 4, right? Now, branding. So branding would be when you would have pictures, you would have the company names, you would have some text here, and you would maybe change up the fonts, you would change up the boldness of the letters, and just get really creative. So you can add videos, you can add images, you can add text. I'm going to show you now our Oplin Recruiting screening form template, which this is kind of how we branded it. As you can see here, we have all this, and yeah, this is exactly kind of what we went over in our own template form. You're going to be getting this actual exact screening form in the attachment in the link below. You're going to have access to all of it, and yeah, so that is exactly how you do it. You have the 3 simple stages. You're going to actually open up and find the template. You're going to add your questions in this exact linear order in 4 different sections. So as you can see, we have 4 sections up here. This is the first section. This is the second section. This is the skills. You have the third section, which is the values and personality traits. And then you have the fourth section, which is like goals, fun related stuff. As you can see, I put name your ideal work environment in 5 different words, or in 5 words. Stuff like that, right? Now you're going to be able to track responses up here. For the sake of this, I did an example where I put in just a random name, had them fill in a few things, and it was awesome, right? You can also link this to Google Sheets, so you can have your own CRM attached to it. It is pretty awesome, right? Now, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is how you do screening in 2026, folks. So I'm going to be providing you this screening template that we use to hire for our candidate or our clients over at Oplin. And yeah, I would highly recommend, of course, changing things over, making it cater specifically more for your practice and optimizing it for your specific needs, the traits, the values, the skills that you're looking for, and any of the non-negotiables and fun questions, right? So that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. There is a funnel down below. I'm going to try and sell you something, aka recruitment services, where we can help your practice hire your next PT, OT, or SLP in 60 days, or you don't pay. This will obviously have the entire process done on your behalf. We have a 60-day free replacement guarantee in place just in case they leave, as well as the freedom, the money, the revenue, the freedom that you're looking for in a clinician, or as I should say, clinic owner, practice owner, that you're looking for, all those desires. We can get it done for you in 60 days. That is a shameless plug. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next week.